Martin Barre, a man who has been with Jethro Tull and others for many a year, will be talking to us. He's made Devon his home. We'll find out what makes him tick in a few moments' time. BBC Radio Devon. We're live here today at the County Show on Avenue A. It's a beautiful day here today, and the sun has been beating down. It's actually... Are we all comfortable here, audience? Yeah? I don't need to open another flap to get the air through for you? Because the BBC are here to serve, you do realise this. I'll be round serving drinks later on. I'm your stewardess. Your emergency exits are here, here and here. And your entertainment for this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, from Jethro Tull, Mr. Martin Barre. Round of applause, please. Do you get fed up with that tune we just played?
I don't. I'm quite proud of it because it sort of brings back memories of we were in Los Angeles recording that track. And it was the first time we played it in America, so it was quite a brilliant tour because it was the first time as a young teenager we were actually in the States making music. It was quite exciting.
What age did you start? You say a teenager with Jethro Tull. There were bands before, were there not?
I might have to readjust the word teenager to young adult. I think I was about 22 when we were in America. First went over.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Has it changed that much? I tell you what, I was watching, and I'll put this politely, The Remains of the Eagles. There was one particular gentleman there who was just sat smiling. He'd obviously had I think the term is he'd had a lot to dream in the 70s.
Yes, I know a lot of those people who should remain nameless.
But has it changed? You don't, and I don't mean to be rude, you don't appear to be the rock and roll outlaw that I thought you were going to be.
I don't live the rock and roll life. I go running every other day, or I'm on my bike, or I play table tennis at the local club. No, I'm not.
So when Mick Jagger phones down to reception, and this was a true story a couple of months ago, and he got through to the same bellhop who went, "Oh, Mr. Jagger, and what would you like?" He said, "A glass of cocoa." And he said, "Were you the same man that threw a television into the swimming pool in 1978? Things have changed a little, yes?
Well, I think they have. I mean, they were wild days, and in fact, we toured with Led Zeppelin for 2 months, and that was crazy. I mean, they were amazingly ridiculous people, but we were part of it, and we had fun. It was harmless. Nothing bad happened, I promise you.
Okay.
But it was exciting days, and we were young, and it was just, being a musician was just everybody's dream.
Okay. Take me back to the very beginning. Who placed an instrument in your hand first? Who inspired you?
My sister, who lives in Modbury, not the local, she went to the local youth club and came back saying, "I've just seen this band." This was in the sort of mid-60s, and she said, you just have to come and see them, they're amazing. And so I went down to the local youth club, and I just sat there with my mouth, I think I was dribbling. I'd never heard anything like it in my life, and I just knew then I had to be a musician. And the band that were playing became the Moody Blues.
Oh, wow.
By coincidence.
By coincidence. Absolutely remarkable. Do you read music yourself?
I do a tiny bit, but I do my own take on music. The music I write and record is very sort of left of centre. It's a bit sort of quirky. I've made it my own.
Is it true? I mean, you may not know this. This is a piece that Paul McCartney can't read music. Is that some apocryphal tale?
It doesn't matter, though, does it?
It doesn't, no. I'm not going to criticise the man. I mean, let's face it. No, he's done very well. A little more polish and he could make it, I think.
Yeah. Well, I'll name drop, and I did a week's work with him in the early 90s, and I got an invite down to... I got a phone call. I said, "Oh, do you know where Paul's place is?" I said, "Paul? Paul who?" And they... "McCartney." I go, "Oh, yes, sorry, of course." and it was an invite to go and record with him for a week, and it was unbelievable. I mean, he was amazing, and he every time he did a run-through, he sang live. His voice was incredible. I mean, it was a brilliant week.
He would come across, I've never met the man, but he comes across as a precise person.
Mm-hmm. He definitely is, yeah, definitely. Perfect.
Is that one of the highlights of your career? Can I mention that? Yeah, no. Your face is screwing up.
Well, it was a very interesting. It was quite a stressful week, but it was because he was my hero. But when I was a teenager, I was buying and learning Beatles songs like everybody else in Birmingham. So to actually sort of 30 years down the line go and play next to him was just incredible. So it was sort of a dream come true.
Well, we talk about, you say Birmingham. I know that's it's your original roots, Birmingham at the time. Birmingham produced some amazing musicians. A great host. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Wizard, correct?
Stevie Winwood,
Ozzy Osbourne.
Ozzy Osbourne. There's a lot of people came from Birmingham. Yeah, it was a big music scene, and it was sort of very similar with Liverpool. But Liverpool got the sort of glory and the glitz. But it could have been Birmingham just as easily. That there are as many bands coming out of Birmingham.
Exactly. It's just the accent. It doesn't come across as rock and roll. Oh, no, it doesn't, does it?
Oh, no, it's not at all. Thank you very much.
Martin Barre from Jethro Tull, he's staying with us. He's going to play with us. He's BBC Radio Devon. We're live here at the Devon County Show, talking to Martin Barre. I keep on saying Martin Barre from Jethro Tull. Is that a proper description now? You are just Martin Barre?
I think, well, Jethro Tull are sort of on an extended holiday, so that they don't exist, and possibly it'll get back together in a year or two, but at the moment there's two separate bands. Ian has his own solo band, and I have my own solo band, and I do more classic rock Tull, from the early years, so it's more of a rock blues band.
Okay. I got it right in thinking he got into fishing and fish, didn't he, big style?
He did a long time ago up in Scotland, but that's long gone. Not anymore. No.
What about yourself? Have you ever diversified into other things?
I find music is more than enough. Thank you very much.
Don't push it, otherwise. No.
Yeah.
So what for the future? I mean, obviously, you're still touring, you're still producing, you're still doing the music. I mean, is there any great last thing that you'd like to do? God, that sounds a very final question, isn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, we're here to celebrate the life of Martin Barre. What's left to do? Sorry, we'll get you a Stanner stair lift up there in a minute.
Do you know something I don't know?
No.
You're not a doctor, are you? Well, I've just done a classical album. It's what they call classical crossover. So it's sort of acoustic guitars, classical guitars, mandolin, bazookas, and it's all some of the softer, more melodic Tull songs. And then I've written a whole load of music to go round it. And that's my new project. I'm hoping to get that released in the next month or two. And then I'm going to tour it as a guitar quartet.
Oh, right.
And I think there's a Scottish guitar quartet who do purely, Bach, Mozart, purely classical music. But it's an amazing sound. 4 classical guitars played orchestrated parts is amazing.
Now, strange you should mention that. When I first met you, you had a mandolin with you, and that was with a gentleman called David Cousins, who used to be the lead singer of the Strawbs. Have you got one with you today?
It's sitting over there, yes. There it is.
Is that a mandolin? That thing there? That thing? I'm sorry, it's really rude, this interview.
I can't believe you said that about my mandolin. It's a 1954 Gibson, all the way from Mississippi.
Is it? I mean, it's an electric mandolin, or
it was one of the first electric mandolins made, but I don't think you've hurt its feelings.
Oh, I'm so sorry. No, these instruments do have great feelings. Can we just walk up there? Can you show me how to just to do it? If you can just walk up to stage, because I am totally and utterly unmusical. I can safely say that I have never, in any way, shape, or form, picked up an instrument in my life, and I know my abilities. And
do you want to play it?
No. Would I like to play it? It's not in the shape, not in the sense of the. Or something like that. Doesn't it make you sick when someone can just pick that up and you go, yes, thank you very much, and good night, and off they walk? I mean, that is remarkable. And you've got to have a natural ability for this.
You have to have a sort of a certain brain set, and coming from Birmingham makes it perfect. It means you only have to think of one thing at a time.
We're going to have the BBC Radio Birmingham crew down here. Listen, it's absolutely. This is a beautiful piece. You say Gibson, and you were famed with another set of guitars I was reading last night.
Was
it Gibson? Was it the Fender as well? Or did you play with Fender as well?
I'm a bit of a tart. I think I've played with everything: Gibson, Fender, PRS, Hamer, and local people, Manson's. I've played their instruments as well.
Because some of the guitars these days, I was watching an Antiques Roadshow, and one came up which had supposedly been used by Bert Whedon, and there was another list there. I mean, Bert Whedon I met many, many years ago. What an unassuming man. This was a stunningly valuable piece of equipment.
Yeah. Well, I played with Bert Whedon in Birmingham when I was a lad, and we were the other band. And when I was packing my gear away, I pulled the wrong plug out the wall, and all his gear went off. And he just looked round at me, and I was like, beetroot red. It's like, oh, sorry.
I give in. It was my fault. You're going to be playing here with us this afternoon. What sort of sets will you be doing?
It's going to be one of the tracks off this new album. Which is the mandolin track we're going to play, and then we're going to do some sort of acoustic versions of some Jethro Tull songs.
If you have one piece of information or advice for the next generation of musician to come through, so many youngsters are listening, I've got a band, I do this, and I look at them and think, I'm just wondering if it's going to be crushingly disappointing for you. I mean, the music industry's changed. Heaven's sake, we've got somebody in space at the moment who's number one, but only on downloads. I mean, what advice would you give?
It's... I find myself in the same boat because everything's changed so radically. So the actual business of music is really difficult, and it's completely changed. But the essential thing of making music will never change. And I just say to everybody, play an instrument, have fun. If you make money, that's a bonus. If you don't make money, you're going to have the best time of your life.
But you hear of so many legal problems. Indeed, I've just stayed with a friend of mine who knows he's owed money by a failed record company back in the 80s, and it's going through, once again, the High Court. You can be ripped off so easily by a second party, a third party as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, the problem now is that if you have a record contract offered to you, you've got to get a proper music lawyer, and that probably takes most of the money you're going to make from the record off you to start with, so it has to be done properly.
Great shame. Martin, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you today. We'll have a track that will allow you to set up, and I must explain not only to the listeners at home but also to the marquee. We're going to have to set things up because it takes a lot of time to balance out the microphones and the guitars and that sort of stuff. But Martin, sorry,
can I plug our local gig?
Yeah, what are you doing? Where?
We're playing a tour in October, and we're playing at Tavistock Wharf on September the 28th.
New York, Los Angeles, and Tavistock.
Yes, but Tavistock is much more important, as we all know.
Exactly. I mean, will you have groupies at Tavistock?
I'll ask my wife. She looks after the groupies. That's lovely. Is that okay?
Yes, fine. Yeah, groupies. Pasties for the groupies a little bit later on at Tavistock. Martin, it's been an absolute pleasure. We'll hear from you in a moment. BBC Radio Devon. We're here at Devon County Show, live today. It's me, Fitz, right the way through till 3, which is unfortunately not that far away now, but we're going to be entertaining not only the people here, but also you at home with some fantastic music, as I'd like you to welcome to the stage Martin Barre and friends with Empty Cafe.